I believe there are several stories in my life that are just so ridiculous that the world should know. Like an embarrassing story that you never want to hear, but like 10 times worse than that. So, to set the stage, I was a teenager living in my parents' house with my older brother. My parents were out of the house on important business and had been for several weeks. After all that time, I had gotten bored of being lazy and decided, well, maybe I should do something. I decided I'd do something that I can't do when my parents were home. I jumped down the staircase. So, after making what little preparations would be required for making a stupid jump, I announced my stunt to my brother like it was some kind of Evil Knievel show, and of course he told me that's stupid, don't do it. I was fixated on showing off my non-existent ninja skills and jumped and sailed through the air and landed, and nothing happened. And so my brother just kind of rolled his eyes and went back to his room to rage at Call of Duty. And I was just sitting at the bottom of the stairs thinking, wait, something cool was supposed to happen when I did this. And as a glutton for punishment, I decided, let's try it again. I ran to the top of the stairs and jumped, sailed through the air, and landed just fine again. And since nothing happened again, I decided, why not keep going? And sprinted to the top of the stairs and jumped again and again and again. And at around the sixth repeated jump, I ended up slipping up and landed with my foot at a really weird angle. Instantly, there was a time freeze with a record scratch in the background, and pain just shot all over me. And I just started screaming, fuck! As loud as I can, constantly. Just exploding out of me like explosive diarrhea constantly. Fuck! Of course, my screaming and crying was causing the entire house to shake, so my brother rushed out to check on me, rocking back and forth, sucking my thumb like a baby while screaming, fuck! After a quick I told you so, my brother said, oh, I think we need to call Dad, and another record scratched because to this day, calling my parents to tell them that I did something stupid is a step over calling 911, and especially today. Immediately after he said that, I did my best to swallow my screams, and with tears in my eyes still, I said, "Oh no, no, I'm fine. You don't have to call Dad." And then he said, bro, you can't even walk. We're calling for help. And still with tears in my eyes, I said, no, no, of course I can walk. And I got up and attempted to take one step, and it can only be described as when SpongeBob forgot how to tie his shoes, as when I put weight on my other foot, on the foot I fell on, I immediately just face planted, lunged into the floor. He said, dude, you need help. And he started going over to call my dad to ask for help. And I was desperately trying to follow him to stop him. And again, I couldn't walk. So to go after him, I was crawling on my hands and knees, shouting, "No, you don't have to call him! Wait!" And all the while he's trying to call him up, and I'm scraping on the back of his shirt like a puppy since I can't stand up to talk into the phone or stop him at all or even stand. So he finally gets my dad on the line, and bear in mind, throughout this entire call, I'm still crawling, scratching at my brother's back like a puppy, trying to scream into the phone, "No, you don't have to come, I'm fine." And so my brother tells my dad I was stupid, I jumped down the stairwell, and I can't walk. And so my dad hesitantly decides that he'll leave my mom and go check on me at the house. But wait, why were my parents out of the house? It was because my mom was nearing the due date of the birth of my younger siblings, and so my mom and dad were in the hospital waiting for her to go into labor and give birth to them. Now, instead of crying about my foot, I was crying about making my dad leave because, oh my god, I really messed up this time. While he was on his way home, I did my best to make it seem like I was just fine by trying to use magic illusion to make it seem like I could take one step without face planting and actually stand up. But of course, my dad and my brother didn't fall for it for 1 second. My dad sighed and then scraped my ass off the floor and tossed me into the car to go to urgent care. And somehow, meanwhile, with my mom, all that excitement, after weeks of waiting, somehow that very moment is when she goes into labor. And my dad misses it as she's giving birth over time because I'm getting my foot x-rayed and shown that I fractured half the bones in my feet, but I'm still in more pain because I made him leave, and now my mom's giving birth, which is supposed to be the happiest sight in his life, but he has to be here because I hurt myself like a dumbass. And even after that, my dad needed to stay with me at urgent care because I was a minor and he needed to sign all the forms saying I could have treatment done to me. And he had to stay with me for over a day. So he missed the birth of his children and he didn't get to see them for a few days since he had to stay with me to sign a bunch of paperwork saying I could get surgery on my foot. To this day, I'm sure they still haven't forgiven me, but my younger siblings learned about their birth date and how that happened, and they joke about it frequently. Years later, I still feel like a dumbass for letting that happen. And in the end, I don't think I actually learned a lesson from it. Because now that I think about it, it's not that I wouldn't have jumped down this staircase. It's that I probably would have waited until if I injured myself that nothing bad would have come from it. So now I suppose instead of being a stupid teenager, I'm a stupid adult. A stupid adult who knows that don't do any stunts if you're not going to look cool while doing them. If there is actually anyone in the world watching this, please like and subscribe and leave a comment and all that other stuff.